Hello, it's Oliver here again, this time for part 2 of the Michigan-Purdue series. This time we're going to look at the Michigan defense and the Purdue offense. And like the first video, Purdue's got a bit of an advantage. They're the 3rd ranked offense according to KenPom, and Michigan are the 22nd ranked defense according to KenPom. That's on February 3rd. So Purdue, obviously 3rd best, is pretty good. 22nd in defense is nothing to scoff at for Michigan. That's still a really high-ranked defense, especially when you're looking nationwide. But it's still implied that Purdue have the advantage. They're a really high-scoring team, highest scoring team in the Big Ten, best three-point shooting team in the Big Ten. That really makes sense when you look at their personnel. In my opinion, Purdue has a perfectly made roster. They've got 2 really good kind of 3-and-D wings in Matthias and Vincent Edwards. Matthias is certainly more 3-and-D based. He's really good at three-point shooter and he's really good on defense. Vincent Edwards can do both of those things, except he's also got the added benefit of being able to back someone down in the low post. So both of them are really good players. Purdue also has a really good floor general in PJ Thompson, like one of those kind of classical coach on the court kind of guys. They've got an athletic scorer in Carson Edwards, who is also the only person on the starting 5 that is not a senior. He's a sophomore. And they've also got an incredibly dominant, unstoppable centre in Isaac Haas, who's 7'2" and 300 pounds. And of that starting 5, none of them have really got any sort of NBA draft buzz. Of any that would be drafted, it would probably be Vincent Edwards because he's just so versatile, but we're not dealing with incredible athletes. They're just really well constructed as a unit. Purdue's scheme, it really kind of prioritizes three-point shots in the first action, and then when that doesn't work or if that's defended well, they then try and feed Isaac Haas, who is really unstoppable for that second action. Wagner, who was guarding Isaac Haas, was really quite lost against him in the 2 games that they played. He averaged 4 fouls a game, 8 overall, just trying to mark Haas. So it's really struggling in that matchup. But Michigan did do a really good job defending Purdue's 3-point sets. That really led to, in the second game, Purdue prioritizing going through Haas as an offensive option. He had a 50% or 48% usage rate in the second game, Isaac Haas, and that's because Michigan did such a good job of shutting down those 3-point shots, which we'll look at soon. So let's go into the video. So first we're going to look at Dakota Matthias and his 3-point shooting. He's a 46% 3-point shooter. One of the best in the team. They're all good 3-point shooters, but Matthias is really the one who's prioritized in the to really benefit from the sets. And here's an example. So here he is with the ball now, and when he passes it off, I want you to pay attention to how he runs down the baseline from the left corner to the right corner using a screen from Isaac Haas, who's obviously a really good screener just because of his size for an open 3-point shot. So passes it off, runs down the baseline, it's a good screen by Isaac Haas, open 3-point shot, gets it in. Now Dakota Matthias, he is the one who usually runs with the second team, and on that second team is a primary scorer. So with that second team with Matt Harms at centre, who's a lot more mobile than Isaac Haas because he's just a bit more lighter, they put out a lot of screens at the top of the key. And Dakota Matthias really benefits from those screens. So here's in the left corner, gets a screen from Matt Harms, open 3-point shot, gets it in. Here we've got Isaac Haas again, but again he's going to benefit from a screen at the top of the key. So Isaac Haas is going to get the ball, wait for Matthias to come through, 3-point shot, gets it in. But Michigan were quite good at defending Matthias's actions, particularly communicating between Reichman, Matthews, and Livers along the baseline. So Matthias is going to get the ball, go down to the left corner, and watch there how Michigan, I just want to replay it, Initially it's Rakeman, he's guarding Dakota Mathias, but as he goes along the baseline, watch how he passes it out to number 4, Livers, to negate the open three-point shot. Just passes him off and shuts down that initial three-point action. And as I said, they go to Haas in that second option. Now this is the second game. As I said, they really shut it down in the second game, requiring Purdue to go through Haas quite a lot. Now Dakota Mathias is in the bottom left-hand corner here. Watch how he's passed off. Again, now he's just got to Rakeman onto him. They have to give it to their center. Again, he gets the ball, runs to the left corner. He's passed off to Livers again from Rakeman, shutting down the three-point action. Same thing, he's at the bottom of the screen, passed off to Rakeman, shutting down the action. Just the repetition of this really shows you how important Mathias is to the Purdue game plan and how integral his three-point shooting is. They really try and create open shots for him. But as I said, Michigan did a really good job of shutting him down. So again, in this last one, Rakeman passes him off to Livers and the play is dead. But along with Dakota Mathias, Purdue also really try and emphasize Carson Edwards by running a very similar play. Except this time they have not just one screen on the baseline, but 3. So here we see him in the bottom right-hand corner, Carson Edwards. Now when he goes down the baseline, he'll get 3 screens and an open three-point shot in the left corner. So here he comes, 1, 2, 3, open three-point shot, and he gets it in. Now they really use this play really a lot, just continuously in the crunch time. So at the moment it's 58-58, about 6 minutes left in the second half. And, Purdue's really going to emphasize this Carson Edwards play. So again, Vince Edwards sets a mean screen on Matthews. It's a bit of a contested 3, but he gets it in. They're going to run the exact same play, only a few minutes later. 1 screen, 2 screen, 3 screen. Rakeman falls over, open three-point shot, and he gets it in. Now this time Michigan are going to defend it, but watch how Vincent Edwards, realizing that they've defended it, rolls back around, uses the same screen from, I believe it's going to be Matt Harms, yes it is Matt Harms, to get a similar open three-point shot. So Carson Edwards, he's going to come down to his right corner again. Michigan are preparing for it. Doesn't work, so Vincent Edwards rolls back around, gets a three-point shot, and gets it in. So it's that kind of, those 3 Carson Edwards sets down the baseline in the last 6 minutes of the game that really sort of helped Purdue propel themselves, or in this case, keep up with Michigan and eventually win the game. Which brings us to Haas. So, as I said, Michigan did a really good job of defending those 3-pointers, even those Carson Edwards plays we just showed were really well contested. And that brings us to Isaac Haas. So this is just one way they used him. We're going to go through a few ways they used him. So when they got a rebound and were going to go walking down the court or running down the court off a missed shot, what Purdue would do is they would just set Isaac Haas at the top of the key, set a pick, and then roll to the basket. So sets a screen, rolls to the basket, and 1. Oh no, it didn't get and 1. It gets an offensive foul. Again, off a rebound. Walking down, Haas sets a screen, switches the center of Michigan onto Vincent Edwards, who gets an and 1 opportunity. We're just going to replay that one again. So Vincent Edwards walks it down the floor, Isaac Haas sets a screen, switches him on to the Michigan center, Vincent Edwards gets an and 1. Same thing, off a rebound, walking down the floor, Haas sets a screen, rolls to the basket, gets an and 1. So that's just a way they would use Haas really quickly, and they did it to a quite well result. They did it to good results. Sorry. Now here's another play they run. I've just called this 2016 just because I remember seeing it quite a lot last year. And what it's going to involve is a series of screens in the middle of the court. The middle of the Michigan, right in the middle of the lane here. And that's going to see if they can get any open three-point shooters, and when none of those develop, they're just going to give it to Haas in the low post, where he's going to have 3 options, which we're going to go through. So Purdue, they're going to set us a few screens. Okay, no open 3-point shooters, give it to Isaac Haas in the low post. And now at this opportunity, he's got 3 options. Option 1, he's going to pass to some shooters. He'll pass it along the perimeter, find an open shot, and get it in. Same thing, give it to Haas in the low post. Now this time what he's going to do is he's going to give it to Dakota Mathias for a baseline drive. He then gives it back to Haas, who just misses the, I'm not sure if that's a layup or a dunk, it's something, but tries to get it in. So again, Mathias goes down the baseline, gives it back, just misses it. And the third option is Isaac Haas posts up, which is obviously probably the more effective way. So he posts up, backs him down, and he'll go left. Isaac Haas always goes left. And as we now just go into a compilation of him scoring in the low post, it will just become really evident that he always goes left. So obviously it's not a great secret. Anyone who plays him will probably know, but I mean, he just dunks on people. He scored 41 points in the 2 games against Michigan. He was quite dominant. Again, he goes left. He turns all the way around to get it in. A lot of these assists come from Vincent Edwards, just down the top of the key. He just feeds it back into him. He had a 47.8 usage rate in this game at Purdue because Michigan was so good at shutting down those initial 3-point actions, so Purdue really had to go through Haas to score. Something that I also noticed is just how mentally exhausting it must be to defend him. He's just so strong that it just must be so hard. And especially when he does things like this, where he just dunks and really hypes up the crowd in your own team. It must just become really very demoralizing, as I've noted down here. So again, Vincent Edwards feeds it into him, and he just stares down Wagner after getting an and one opportunity. So again, it must be very depressing to try and defend him. And here, after some Michigan player tries to help him, Simpson hesitates, he gets an open 3-point shot. So everything that Haas sets up in the low post can really affect the rest of the team. And as I was saying, like helping on him is so dodgy, because if you try and help on Purdue, help defense and try and really shut down the Isaac Haas in the low post, that means you're leaving somewhere on the court an open Purdue shooter. And Purdue have got all good shooters around Isaac Haas. So Dakota Mathias, Carson Edwards, Vincent Edwards, PJ Thompson, all of them are adequate 3-point shooters. So if you try and help him, whoever's guarding him, so Wagner in this instance, if you try and help Wagner, it's just really risky. What Michigan do here is they send help defense from Matthews, number 1. And that's because he's guarding PJ Thompson, who's probably the worst of the 4 shooters in Purdue. He has a very high percentage, but that's just because he's got a small sample size. But of the 3 shooters, he's probably the worst. So again, we're just replaying that clip. Pass it into Vincent Edwards, gives it to Isaac Haas. Matthews comes in and swipes it away. Here's just an example of Wagner guarding him. He knows he's going left. He's able to predict it and get him in the way and block the shot. And I'm just going to end on 2 examples of Haas going right. He didn't miss every time he went right, but he certainly missed more often than not when he went right. So that was a good example there. And finally, this last example. So again, he's backing down Wagner, tries to go right, and just completely misses. So that's just kind of showing you how he's so reliant on going left that when he does go right, he really doesn't know what to do. He still scores points when he goes right. There was an example in that compilation of him going right and scoring. He's just so strong and powerful that it's hard to stop no matter what way he goes, but you're more likely to stop him if you're able to force him the way he's least comfortable. So just to summarize, in the first game, Purdue did quite well by setting up good 3-point shots, especially down the stretch there, using that sort of triple screen action down the baseline for Carson Edwards in crunch time. But Michigan did a really good job of shutting that down in the second game and forcing Purdue to go through halves, which they gladly did, and really benefited from it, scoring at will anyway. He had a 48% usage rate, 41 points between the two games, the majority of which came in that second game. So Michigan really need to shut down Isaac Haas going forward, continue doing that good job on defense guarding the three-point actions, but yeah, it's just Isaac Haas, and I have no real solutions to it because it's just so good. So that's from me. Again, my part 2 should be in the description. Part 1 should be in the description, and as well as my email and a link to a code window video of me walking through what code window I used to code these games, if you're interested. So flick me an email if you want, and check those out. So cheers.